Extreme Force was released on February 2nd, 2018. This set contained some of the highly sought after Link Vrains pack cards that the OCG had received and would warp the competitive landscape. Additionally, a new banlist would be released on February 5th, 2018. Blackwing, Gofu the Vague Shadow, Dandelion, Double Iris Magician, Level Eater, Max C, and Performapal Skullcrabat Joker were now banned from official tournament play. Apocalyphort Towers, Firewall Dragon, Grinder Golem, Performapal Damage Juggler, Monster Reborn, Spiral Resort, and Solemn Judgment were now limited to 1 copy each. And finally, Artifact Moraltac, Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, Brionac Dragon of the Ice Barrier, Card Trooper, Thunder King Ryo, Brain Control, El Shadal Fusion, Future Fusion, Mind Control, Preparation of Right, Sacrifice, Bottomless Trap Hole, Ceasefire, Ojama Trio, and Torrential Tribute were now unlimited to 3 copies, although some of these cards did receive an errata.
In this series, both MBT and myself will be traversing the sands of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Each episode will take a deep dive into Yu-Gi-Oh's past formats and unlock new strategies as new sets become available. Strap yourselves in because anything is possible. Welcome to the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you want 5% off any singles or sealed product, click the affiliate links in the description and use code CIMO5. And clicking the TCG Player affiliate link before you shop helps support us to provide you with more amazing content.
Well, after the thrashing that was Spiral format, it appears we've entered the Gift Alex Free Wins period of history. I am just dreading putting that shirt on. I can smell it from here. I know it seems like we're spending an inordinate amount of time in the pre-Flames of Destruction metagame, and that's for 2 reasons. Firstly, this metagame was pretty diverse. With the exception of a clear best deck in Pendulum Magician and a clear second best deck in True Draco, there was a lot playable at all levels of gameplay. And second, as soon as that set releases, the game becomes unplayable. It's not necessarily playable now, but if you think these decks are uninteractive, wait until you see what happens next. It's going to make these matches look like a Tearlament mirror. Anyway, today we're going to focus on one particular event, YCS Bochum. And the reason we're doing that is because of an unbelievable deck that took the top spot. This one, World Chalice. Now, this deck is quite difficult to explain. In fact, there's probably only one person who could do it justice, and it's the individual who won this event. He actually comprises 100% of World Chalice's total tops. Keep that in mind while I'm trying to manage combos. The short of it is that World Chalice was one of a number of decks that did one thing in particular: activated Brilliant Fusion and won the game immediately. Now, there's a significant amount of ways you can accomplish this. Alex is playing another deck that does the same thing by utilizing Gem Knights, but for our purposes, we're just trying to get enough material into rotation in order to do, for the first time ever, Firewall combos. Firewall's second effect used to not be a hard once per turn, and it also used to not summon Cybers monsters. Effectively, if your hand was full of critters, you could get them onto your field just by way of clever zone management. This was used for a multitude of things. You'll see in future episodes how it can be used to hand loop an opponent, to U-link an opponent, and even in Spiral, it was able to set up things like Trigate negates in best of all possible worlds hands. What this deck is trying to do with it is a little bit different. While it of course can put up a stellar, unbelievable combo that stops your opponent in their tracks by way of a U-link, it usually tries to make this card, Saruya Skulldread. This card allows you to, if it's made with 4 different materials, draw 4 cards, then put 3 from your hand at the bottom of your deck in any order. Provided it's been made with 3 materials, which is usually the floor on how you're summoning this, you can once per turn summon a monster from your hand. The monster you aim to be summoning is this one, Gamciel the Sea Turtle Kaiju. Now you might be asking yourself, why would you summon what is effectively a removal spell to your side of the field? And that's because Gamciel has an effect. You see, you can remove, not as a once per turn, not as a once per chain, 2 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field and negate the activation of an opponent's card or effect. By getting a Kyoto Waterfront onto your side of the field and then doing your combo or finding it mid-combo by way of the Saruya draws after you've removed all of the bricks from your deck, you could all but guarantee you could end on this monster. Not only does this monster end the game, there's almost no counterplay, as the number 1 way you would get rid of a Kaiju is by tributing over it for a Kaiju. Obviously that can't happen. The end result is frightening, a combo deck that is incredibly capable provided an opponent only has one or fewer hand traps, and as a result it was able to take down this incredible tournament. While this would be the last victory for World Chalice, it was hardly the last victory for a lot of the problematic cards you see in the deck. Brilliant Fusion, of course, would be powerful until it was banned, as would Soul Charge. Ava returns for Drytron, Firewall Dragon of course needs no introduction, and Tsuruya is the basis for a number of deep draw decks throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's history. This deck really is a who's who of broken ass bullshit. Let me walk you through the individual cards. We're playing 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 Dogger and the Mad Flame Kaiju, 1 Gamciel the Sea Turtle Kaiju, 1 Ava. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish up to 2 Light Fairy monsters from your field or graveyard, add the same number of level 2 or lower Light Fairy monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. Usually you would be able to banish Mystical Shine Balls to get copies of Herald of Orange Light, which would be negates on your opponent's turn, provided they could get rid of Gamciel. We've got 3 copies of Lee the World Chalice Fairy. This is part of combo lines, but also just a generally good card. If it's normal or special summoned, you can add a World Chalice monster from your deck to your hand, and you can send a monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to add this card from your graveyard to your hand. 1 copy of Rescue Ferret. This card's very frustrating. You can shuffle this card you control into the deck in order to special summon monsters from your deck, except Rescue Ferret, whose total levels equal 6 to your zones a link monster points to, but their effects are negated and they are destroyed during the end phase. Frequently, this will just summon 3 monsters, but occasionally it summons other stuff too. Conceivably, if you have 2 zones available, you could get a World Chalice and an Ava, which is pretty damn good. We've got 3 copies of the Agent of Creation Venus. This is your 1-card starter. Summons any number of Mystical Shine Balls from your deck and enables you to go through very powerful link monsters that can be made with normal monsters. We have 1 Thunder King, 1 World Chalice Gar Dragon. When a card effect is activated that targets a linked monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to negate the activation and destroy the card, and you can banish this card from your graveyard to target a normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position to your zone, a link monster points to. We've got 3 of the card that makes the deck tick, the World Legacy World Chalice. If a monster is specialed from the extra deck, you can tribute this card to send it to the graveyard. That effect doesn't matter, these ones do. If this face-up normal summoned or set card leaves the field, you can special summon 2 World Chalice monsters from your deck, except a World Legacy World Chalice, and then during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it from the graveyard to add a World Legacy from your deck to your hand. We've got 2 Beckoned by the World Chalice, a Garnet for Brilliant Fusion, and 3 Shine Balls. Brilliant Fusion, Foolish Burial, 2 Kyoto Waterfront, Monster Reborn, Soul Charge, Transmodify, which allows you to, like, pivot a 2 ball into a 3 Venus. You really wanted this card. 2 Twin Twisters, Unexpected Die, World Legacy's Heart, and the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. Usually what you were aiming to do is normal summon a Venus, summon a bunch of Shine Balls, use Shine Ball to go into this monster, Imduck the World Chalice Dragon, which allows you an extra normal of a World Chalice monster in addition to your normal. Use that to get out a World Legacy World Chalice and get off to the races that way. In the side, we've got Archlord Christia, for which you have a number of lines, Jinzo, which is fine, Abyss Dweller, 3 Mind Control, a Raigeki, triple Anti-Spell Fragrance, triple Evenly Matched, and double Mask of Restrict. In the extra, we've got Gem Knight Seraphinite, Baguska, Aram the World Chalice Blade Master, Ebe the World Chalice Priestess, and Imduck the World Chalice Dragon. I'm going to do all these at once. Aside from Imduck's effect that it gives you the extra normal, none of these cards are particularly remarkable, except for the fact that they all have the effect that if they are sent from the field to the graveyard, you can specially World Chalice monster from your hand. By summoning a copy of Lee the World Chalice Fairy from deck with World Legacy World Chalice, you'll almost always have material in your hand because Beckoned gets added to hand. After that, we've got a Binary Sorceress, which just has really good arrows, Firewall Dragon, of course, Link Spider, which is a down link that you can make off of a Mystical Shine Ball, Ningirsu the World Chalice Warrior, double Tsuruya Skulldread, and a Trigate Wizard for best of all possible world lines. Alex will show you his deck, and you'll get a sense of how this is going to play out, but I imagine the most important thing we're going to be doing this episode is the coin flip.
Distant Coder, Vlad, any other Gem Knight players out there, if you're watching this, I apologize for what you're about to witness. This is going to be a travesty. So admittedly, I don't know very much about the Gem Knight FTK. I'm going to do my best to struggle through it. I think the best line that I know is just the Brilliant Fusion line because it's a very simple 2-card FTK uninterrupted. So we're going to hope that we just draw Brilliant Fusion every game and then we might just be okay. If we don't, we're probably screwed, but we'll figure it out. I think the gist of just getting a bunch of guys on the field to then burn them with Gem Knight Lady Lapis Lazuli, conceptually, I think we might be able to cobble something together. But in any case, with the release of Extreme Force came Gem Knight Phantom Quartz, and holy good God, this card is insane. So Gem Knight is an archetype that's kind of notoriously been laughed at throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's history. The only real card that saw play was Gem Knight Seraphonite because it bestows an extra normal summon, and with playing 3 Brilliant Fusion and just playing 1 Garnet, which ironically this deck doesn't need to play, you're able to just give yourself an extra normal summon for no reason whatsoever, so why not play it, right? Also, Foolish Burial is a light monster, so it just adds a lot to several decks. But historically, the Hidden Arsenal sets, you know, didn't really give us a lot of good cards until the release of this guy right here. If you've never seen this card before, it requires 2 gem monsters, which, let's be honest, it's the whole deck. If this card's link summoned, you can add a Gem Knight card from your deck to your hand. The card you're most likely going to be going for is Fusion, just because Fusion is like the heart and soul of the deck. Now, if you already have Fusion, you can get something else, so the fact that it just searches anything is crazy. And on top of it, you can pay 1,000 life points, Fusion summon a Gem Knight Fusion from your extra deck by shuffling Fusion materials in your possession listed on it into your deck that are either banished or in your graveyard, but it cannot attack directly this turn. You can only use each effect of Gem Knight Phantom Quartz once per turn. So this allows you to get an additional summon as well, because you're essentially replicating the Gem Knight Fusion effect, but you're also putting resources back as well, which is kind of pivotal to doing some of the FTK strategy in and of itself. So how does the FTK work? Well, in essence, Gem Knight Lady Lapis Lazuli has an effect that you can only Fusion summon her once per turn. Once per turn, though, you can send a Gem Knight monster from your main deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each special summon monster on the field. So how does this work? Well, if you have 6 special summon monsters on the field, including herself, and remember the 6th comes from having a monster in the extra monster zone, you can burn the opponent for 3,000 damage, but you can only special summon Lazuli once per turn. So how do you get the extra damage? Well, Gem Knight Master Diamond is a neat little card that says you can banish one level 7 or lower Gem Knight Fusion monster from your graveyard. Until the end phase, this card's name becomes that monster's and replace this effect with that monster's original effect. So this allows you to copy the effect of Lazuli. So with Lazuli's effect, you send another copy of Lazuli to the graveyard for the first Master Diamond to copy the effect of by banishing. Then you summon the second Master Diamond using the Lazuli most likely in a Gem Knight Fusion, then banish that Lazuli to copy the effect again for the remaining damage that you need in order to get the FTK off. So effectively it comes down to getting Lazuli, getting some Master Diamonds on the field, and just having a bunch of monsters so that way you're actually able to add up to 8,000. You can actually exceed 8,000 with this FTK, and even if you're going second, like, you can still do the FTK 1, and 2, these guys are just big. Like Master Diamonds 29, you can just beat your opponent down. You don't even have to worry about the FTK if you don't have to. But in any case, let's do the card by card. So a lot of you probably know Block Dragon from the Adamancipator days. This was actually the first deck that really abused this card. It's basically a dragon ruler, but for earth monsters, or I guess rocks, technically. You summon it by banishing 3 earths from your hand or graveyard, and rock monsters you control cannot be destroyed except by battle. That's very relevant because it actually lets you play through this combo with Ghost Ogre. Otherwise, your Master Diamonds and your Lazulis are a little bit vulnerable. I think Master Diamonds obviously where you would Ogre, because you kind of want Lazuli and grave and it still resolves anyway. But more importantly with Block Dragon, if it's sent from field to grave, you can add up to 3 rock monsters from your deck to your hand whose total levels equal 8. So what you're typically going to do is, and hopefully we get to show this off, is you're going to add like Lazuli, Obsidian, and like Lapis, Obsidian, and then Crystal Rose, because Crystal Rose being a 2 sort of bridges some things together. But if you need to add other combinations as well, as long as it equals 8, it's crazy. The amount of advantage this card generates is nuts, and again, hopefully we get to show that off. Crystal Rose is a neat card. It's sort of a Foolish Burial for Gem Knights, because once per turn, you can just dump a Gem Knight from either hand or deck to grave, and this card actually becomes the monster's name, which is relevant for if you're doing certain fusions. And then you can also banish a fusion monster to special summon from your graveyard, so it just helps you get another monster on the field. Gem Armadillo is just literally a normal summonable Stratos for Gem Knight monsters. Lazuli, if it's sent to grave by card effect, you can add a normal monster to your hand. Obsidian, if it's sent from hand to grave, you can target a level 4 or lower normal and special summon it, so that includes stuff like Lapis or Tourmaline. Then we have Rescue Rabbit, which we all know Rescue Rabbit. We can just actually get a bunch of Gem Knights on the field. 2 of them go into Phantom Quartz, and we're off to the races. Triple Lapis and Triple Tourmaline. You'd think these are bricks, but honestly, they're actually not too bad considering we just need a bunch of Gem Knights to do things. things. For the spells, of course, we have triple Brilliant Fusion, because this is one of the most broken cards ever printed. Triple Cosmic Cyclone in the list that we are playing here. Dark Hole, Foolish Burial, triple Gem Knight Fusion. This card's crazy because it's not a hard once per turn, which is, you know, in a hidden arsenal, like when you look back when these cards were originally printed, it seemed okay for this card not to have a hard once per turn, but even then, it's just ridiculous. Reborn, Double Desires, Raigeki, Soul Charge, and triple Unexpected Die. Again, we just need to get Gem Knights on the field, and then we are off to the races. For the extra deck, we have Gem Knight Lady Brilliant Diamond, which is pretty cool because it can actually tribute a, or I think it sends a Gem Knight monster you control to the grave to special summon one of your Gem Knights, and it actually just treats it as if it was fusion summon, so that's a really cool way to sort of bypass some certain things, like just getting stuff out onto the board. Double Lapis for the FTK, same thing goes for Master Diamond. Prismara is in here as well, just a neat little card, can help if you're going second, obviously. And then we have Zirconia, we kind of need this for some of the combos, as well as Seraphonite. And then for links, we have Decode Talker, of course, the double Phantom Quartz, Link Spider, Radiant, and Underclock Taker. The side contains triple Lancia, some Kaijus, including Slumber, double DDD Rebel King Leonidas. I guess this is for the mirror, because this is like an anti-burn card, so that's fucking hilarious. Triple anti-spell, triple dimensional barrier. Honestly, like, this episode might only be 5 minutes, so we'll see what happens. But if we win the die roll, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not make you wait any longer. It's time to duel. Boy, Joseph, we just have two bangers for this episode, don't we? FTK versus FTK. Great. Have fun watching this one, ladies and gentlemen.
It kind of defeats the purpose, right? We're spending more time in this format to delay having to go into the Firewall Goki format, and in doing so, we're both playing FTKs. Like, at some point, we're going to have to throw in the towel.
I was going to say, and ironically, this is also two other FTK decks that existed in a format that also were the best deck contains an FTK in it. So, this was a great... 2018 was a great time to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, wasn't it?
What are you playing? The FTK? All right, you're going to have to be more specific.
I will say, I think the funny part of it all is that once we get out of the clearing and we're at the end of 2018, it's actually one of the most fun formats in recent memory. Because isn't TOS format at the end of 2018, if my memory serves?
Depends on where you call it, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll get there anyway.
Coming.
People have TOS format to look forward to if they know what we're talking about. So if anything, there is a beacon of hope at some point, but you'll have to suffer for the next few episodes for us. Shout the patron, Adria Perez Palacino. Thank you for the support. I apologize if I completely butchered your name, which I know that I did. Do you have the hand up, Mr. Rothschild?
I do.
I rolled a 3, the number of cards I need to FTK you if I don't open Brilliant Fusion.
Okay, I also put up a 3 for the balls.
Woo! All right. Buckle up, everyone. it's Joseph, you just want to go on Twitter for a bit?
I mean, I intend to.
You could probably just record a Twitter, or sorry, X. You can record an X video if you'd like. Do you have interruption?
You know, I'll tell you, I also opened mine. Yeah, go off, King.
Okay. Do you have interruption, or am I just doing the full thing?
You're good to go.
Okay. All right. Brilliant Fusion has activated, and I do have another Gem Knight monster, which is all I need to perform this FTK. Now, I guess we'll just go through the motions. Okay. Now I have to remember what you actually send here. I think you're supposed to send a Block Dragon, and I think you need to send any Gem Knight, if my memory serves. Dump the Lapis. And funny enough, you know, Seraphonite is what you think you would go for, but in actuality, we go for good old Zirconia. We will normal summon our Tourmaline, and we will link off for the guy himself, Mr. Gem Knight Phantom Quartz. I don't know why they printed this card. This card's fucking insane. So we'll go ahead and activate the effect. On Link Summon, I get to add a Gem Knight Fusion to my hand. We'll just search the best card in our deck. Why not? Then we're going to go ahead and use the effect of Phantom Quartz. We're going to pay 1,000 life points, and we're going to shuffle the monsters in our extra deck, or excuse me, monsters in our graveyard back into our main deck or extra deck. And we're going to summon Gem Knight Lady Brilliant Diamond, who just needed 3 Gem Knight monsters. So now she has a cool effect. We can go ahead and just send a Gem Knight monster we can control to the graveyard. That includes herself. And we can special summon a Gem Knight Fusion from our extra deck, and it counts that it was actually Fusion summoned. So Gem Knight Master Diamond, obviously the linchpin of the combo, aside from Phantom Quartz itself. But we will get to that point when we do. Oh, and I just realized I fucked up, so that's good. I was supposed to banish everything that I shuffled back with the Lady Brilliant for this Block Dragon first, and then Phantom Quartz goes from the banished pile here. I'm clearly not an experienced Gem Knight player like Mr. Distant Coder. So this should already be on the field. Phantom Court shuffles everything for Lady Brilliant, and then we get here. Okay. So I was like, I know we're missing a monster somewhere. We go link off these two for the good old Mrs. Radiant. Best link 2 to ever be printed. And that triggers our Block Dragon. We get to add 8 stars worth of cards to our hand. Gonna add Lapis. We're gonna add Obsidian. And we're gonna add Crystal Rose. Go ahead and Gem Knight Fusion. Get rid of the Rose. Get rid of the Lapis. Go for Seraphinite here. Banish our Brilliant Diamond for Crystal Rose. We can use Crystal Rose's effect, which Foolish Burials a Gem Knight and then copies it. Go for Lazuli, and then Lazuli can add back this Lapis when it's sent to the graveyard. Then we'll banish that Lazuli for Gem Knight Fusion's effect, so we'll add that back to hand. Then we go Gem Knight Fusion. We get rid of Lapis and Obsidian. This gets us our Lapis Lazuli in our final extra monster zone. And since Obsidian was sent from hand to grave, we get to special summon. So we'll get this. And this is where we actually get to start doing things. So we're going to use Lady Lapis Lazuli's effect. We're going to send a copy of herself to the graveyard. And it's going to deal 500 damage to you for each special summon monster on the field. And that's both fields. But in this case, it's only mine. So it's 5 times 6, so 3,000.
Cool.
Then we're going to go Master Diamond effect to banish the Lady Lapis Lazuli, and that's going to copy the effect, and it's going to burn you for another 3,000.
Okay.
And then we're going to use Gem Knight Fusion. We're going to banish Obsidian to add this back to hand. And then we just do this again. We can just get rid of any... We just need, what, 3 Gem Knights for another Master Diamond? Cool. We'll just get rid of these 3. Master Diamond number 2. And then Master Diamond, we banish the other Lazuli, we copy, and that's 4 times 5, which is 2,000 damage.
Awesome. What a cool game this
Yu-Gi-Oh,
was.
ladies and gentlemen. Wasn't that fun and interactive?
Yes. I am never getting out of this shirt. It's just not going to happen.
I mean, you know, you got a chance to win game 2. What are the chances of that, huh?
Oh, wow. Whoa. We opened a hand that does not do it.
Really? Okay.
No, not really. Ooh, okay. So this does do it, but so we're going to begin by normal summoning a mystical shine ball.
As any great FTK deck starts.
And I'm going to tell you right now, you're really going to like this next step. I'm going to activate Transmodify.
Love it. Love it.
All right, we're going to go grab the Agent of Creation Penis.
Perfect.
And let's just start paying life points, you know? We're going to do 2 of these. Let's grab a couple balls. We are balling just a little bit here.
Just a bit.
These shine balls are normal monsters, so I'm able to send one to the graveyard in order to link summon this card, Imduk the World Chalice Dragon. This card's crazy. Besides being a link one, which as we all know are very fair, it also allows me to normal summon a World Chalice monster once, and what do you know, I have the best one in the world right here. So we are going to link off Imduk the World Chalice Dragon and World Legacy World Chalice for Oram, the World Chalice Blade Master, an absolutely useless card that is a World Chalice. That's the important part. And then we'll activate the effect of the World Chalice in graveyard to summon 2 World Chalice monsters from our deck.
Which is actually a pretty good effect.
It's shockingly strong. We're going to grab World Chalice Guard Dragon and Lee the World Chalice Fairy. Then we're going to activate the effect of Lee the World Chalice Fairy in order to grab Beckoned by the World Chalice.
Not so fast!
Yeah?
Lancia.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
World Chalice has a banish effect. I can't take any risks.
Yeah, I mean, what else were you gonna board, to be honest?
Honestly, I saw 3 hand traps, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know what this deck does. I may as well try.
All right, we're gonna go for Eve the World Chalice Priestess here off of these 2.
An actual good World Chalice card. Yep.
Then we will link off Lee the World Chalice Fairy for nothing because she can't make anything on her own. Disgusting woman. All right, we will activate the graveyard effect of World Chalice Guard Dragon to target Mystical Shine Ball.
Excuse me,
Oh,
sir.
you got
How
me!
are you banishing that Guard Dragon?
You got me. I got God dang it. You really screwed me up there. I don't know how I'm going to get all these cards from my graveyard back onto my side of the field, except for Soul Charge!
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
The fucking
right.
one-up. We finally get out of the era of vanities and maxi, and fucking Soul Charge is legal still. Unreal.
Come on, quit whining. Think how nice I'm going to make your your Lady Lapis Lazuli here.
You know what? If you just passed, I would appreciate it, especially because you're on 4,000 life points now too. You're just making my job way easier.
All right, so here's kind of the weird position I'm in, is that from here the deck just does whatever. It just kind of freestyles. You know, there's not like an FTK. But there is also another thing I can do that's really annoying, which we will do right now. We're gonna make another IB by using Imduct the World Chalice Dragon and Venus. After performing that Link summon, we'll trigger Imduct to summon Beckoned by the World Chalice. All right, the Shine Ball is a normal monster, so we will send it to the grave for a Link Spider. Then we're going to go Oram Link Spider for Ningirsu.
Co-linked Ningirsu.
Oh,
This
better
is
than
sick.
that.
Okay.
Double co-link Ningirsu. I'm going to draw two
Double
here.
co-link. Yep. Sure.
Ooh. Oh, there it is! There it is! Kyoto Waterfront.
Oh, no. Now it's over. It's over. The Gamma Seal's coming down.
Anything could happen here. Truly, anything could happen. We are going to... I mean, it's fucking... He's here. The one, the only. Firewall
You know what's crazy?
Dragon.
This is the first time in history. This card has been out for like 8 episodes at this point. This is the first episode we've summoned this card. We've had numerous opportunities, but it just did not happen. But I guess this is a pretty fitting way for it to hit the field.
All right, we're going to activate Firewall Dragon here to add a whole shitload of cards back to my hand.
Yeah,
let's grab...
Double co-linked. That's crazy.
I guess Lee... you know, why not World Chalice? And now we do a little thing we in the business like to call the Yoinky Sploinky, where we...
Well, before you do that, your Kyoto Waterfront needs 2 counters because you linked for Firewall Dragon.
You know what?
Not that I want you to get counters,
actually
but,
so
you know.
kind of you to point out. Next, we'll go Beckoned by the World Chalice and Ebe the World Chalice Priestess for... Oh, God, I mean, honestly, who cares? Let's do Trigate Wizard, right? That's, like, funny. Let's do Ebe right here. So we can do Trigate that might theoretically be linked to something someday. I mean, I'm not holding my breath. Then let's go get a bunch of
2 more counters on Waterfront.
Trigger the effect of Ebe and the effect of Firewall.
Sure.
So that's our World Chalice, and this Firewall isn't exactly the Firewall you may know and love. So we'll go like this. Let's not waste any more time here. I'm going to go Kyoto Waterfront. We are going to grab Gamciel, the Sea Turtle Kaiju.
Why would you be grabbing this? I don't have any monsters on my field.
Oh, Alex, I don't intend to summon this to your field. And then we will... You know what? I hate to do this, but I think this is the play. We'll link Firewall. Oh, that's actually... We can't do 4 that way because he's a 4. God, he's too big. Could do it like this. 1,
What's
2.
that new Link 4 that can link into himself?
Yeah, we need.
That's
we
what
need
you need Firewall to
Zealantis
do.
really badly. Ooh, I'm actually in a bit of a tough position because I don't think I can get the Trigate all the way online. Oh no! Why did I think Saruya has to summon to a zone it points to? This card is broken. Every one of these cards is broken.
Another card we haven't seen yet.
Lee the World Chalice Fairy, World Legacy World Chalice, Ebe, and you know what? Fuck it, Firewall Dragon 2. We're gonna make a format Saruya.
Okay, you go up to 5 counters on your Waterfront. Not that it matters,
All right,
but
let's draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my fucking god.
such a crazy effect.
And we'll trigger the Ebe as well. It is actually an illegal activation at point of trigger, so I will not do that. We'll go... God, I mean, all these cards are just crazy. 1, 2...
God, just imagine if you didn't soul charge at this point yet. You just literally bring back Firewall Ib, and then you're set.
Oh,
you might do that anyway.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm set anyway. This is not gonna end very well for you. I will say that Lancia did prevent me from getting that 3-linked Trigate Wizard, but it didn't prevent me from doing this. We're gonna go Saruya effect.
There's the Gamma Seal.
Yeah, have a good time.
Great. So for people who are unaware, Gamma Seal actually has a real effect. Would you like to inform the audience of what that is?
Yeah, so whenever you activate a card effect, this is not once per chain, I can remove 2 kaiju counters from anywhere on the field, including Kyoto Waterfront. This guy's a little bigger, by the way. I almost forgot Tsuruya's mandatory effect. It will negate it and banish that card. And things are going to get a little worse for you as well, not to mention get anti-spelled.
Well, that was fun. Okay.
Was it?
I have monsters, but I'll be honest, I don't know if it's going to matter all that much. Is Trigate doing anything?
No,
no, not
chilling.
really. Yeah, it's just double battle damage. Who cares? Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter because you have Gamma Seal. All right, game 3.
Cool.
Boy, Yu-Gi-Oh is, it's remarkable that more people don't play this game. Don't you think, Joseph?
Yeah,
I can't imagine, after watching this episode, thinking, damn, why don't I try that game? That looks like a lot of fun. You got to play a lot of cards. I'll say that. Like, that's cool, right?
Did I?
Main one. I will let you know, I did not open Brilliant Fusion, so I don't know if I can FTK you.
I'll let you know.
I'll be honest.
I opened one of the worst hands my deck can produce. Let me see what the draw is. Oh my god.
Okay, does that mean we have to actually play Yu-Gi-Oh? All right, cool.
I think we might.
I know Coder's probably going to watch this and just be like screaming at the screen like, Alex, you have it! You have the FTK! So I'm going to have to try to do him right and try my best here. Okay, I'm going to start by normaling Rescue Rabbit. Rabbit effect. I don't even know what you're supposed to grab off of this. I will be perfectly honest. Let's just get a couple Tourmalines. Why not?
Okay.
They seem like fine lads. Phantom Quartz just needs any gem monsters. So I guess the play is just to do this.
Yeah.
We'll go Phantom Quartz effect. We get to add our Gem Knight Fusion.
Yep.
Now here, I don't have... One other issue with this hand is that I don't have access to Block Dragon, at least right now. I don't know if I can even get there. Did use my normal summon. Okay, we're gonna freestyle a bit here. Let's go Gem Knight Fusion.
All right, I actually have to think about this one.
Oh, do you have something? I'm sorry.
What is still... Oh, no. No, I don't have anything to Gem Knight Fusion. No.
Okay, that's scary that you have something at all. We're gonna go Lapis and Crystal Rose. I don't know what I'm making, I'll be honest. So, we can make a Seraphonite. That's cool. We can also make a Zirconia. That's not bad. Let's go for... I do like the Seraphonite, but it's a bit weird. Okay, let's try for Seraphonite.
Yeah.
I guess I could also just go for... Or no, I can't go for Lapis because I need another Gem Knight monster. Crystal Rose is not a Gem Knight monster. Okay, this is out of here. Cool. Soul Charge. My turn.
Oh, wow, yeah.
We're just going to do everything.
Yeah. Why not?
We'll pay 4K. It's a bit awkward because, like, since there's no Block Dragon or anything, I have to do it this way because, like, Phantom Quartz is going to, like, shuffle this stuff back, so I have to like do stuff with it now, I think, which is kind of awkward. So we're going to use the effect of Crystal Rose.
Yeah.
Don't use Crystal Rose yet. Let me think. All right, we'll go Crystal Rose. With Crystal Rose, I wanted to get some value off of this, but sadly, I don't think I can. We'll just dump whatever. Let's just dump I'll dump a Lazuli, and I don't really want to. I'm just going to banish the Lazuli to get Gem Knight Fusion back.
Sure.
We'll go Gem Knight Fusion. Let's get rid of Lapis. I guess we'll get rid of Crystal Rose. Just go for Lady Lapis. You know what, actually? Instead of this Rose, let me use this Seraphonite. We'll use the effect of Gem Knight Fusion. Let's banish one of these.
Sure.
Add this to hand. Then we'll go Phantom Quartz. I think I already paid the life points because I've had to mess with this a few times here. So I'm at 3K. We will shuffle all of these back. That's 3 gems. That gives us our Master Diamond. We go Lapis effect. We send Lapis, burn you for 3k. Then Diamond, banish Lapis, burn you for another 3k.
Yep.
And then we just go Gem Knight Fusion. Get rid of anything at this point. We have to get that out of here, actually. It's any 3 gems. It's any 3 gems. We'll just go these 3, I guess. Why not? Make another one. Try it.
Yeah, you got it. That was
my God.
Fun fucking set, dude.
Wasn't it? That was just such a great time. I will say it was at least a bit of a dual puzzle trying to piece together the FTK with not really knowing how to play this deck and not having Brilliant Fusion, since that's like the way to auto win.
Yeah.
Most of the time, but we slowly got there. We slowly got there.
Oh man, this was agony.
This
I
was
think from both
agony.
our perspectives. I think the whole match was determined in the vacant when we did the die roll. Rest of this was just a preamble. I guess post-amble. So
I think what I want to say is, before we get into it, is this is one of the things I really hate about Yu-Gi-Oh! Not Gem Knight, not like FTKs in particular, but behind the scenes, our lovely editor Gareth is going to do a wonderful job of you not seeing all the fuck-ups that we made. I really hate when Yu-Gi-Oh! Distills down to essentially a fighting game where to actually play the game, you have to look up a bunch of combos or lines to be able to actually do the main thing that your deck does. And to be fair, that's one of the things people really love about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that it can be so freestyle in a lot of regards, and you can do a lot of things like this. But at the same time, that sort of just kills the game for me. And I think as the game got more and more complex, this is sort of what happened. Now, to be fair, if you were going to bring this into a competitive setting, yes, you're going to have practiced the deck, hundreds of times so that you know all the different situations that are going to come up. And we're showing you this in a very small, window in time. And clearly we're not going to be experienced with every single deck. But even just from like a learning perspective, or like from the new player experience, this is actually the hot topic of debate right now in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Discourse. This is something that I think a lot of people don't find fun. There's really not... most games have like this slow accumulation of resources and ultimately culminate in, climactic moments. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just gas from the get-go. It's turn it up to 11 on turn 1. And it can be off-putting to a lot of people. And so seeing a game like this where I won the die roll. I went first. I killed Joseph. He went first. I couldn't play. And then I went first and somehow cobbled together an FTK. And not the fact that we weren't even enjoying ourselves while we were doing it. It just seemed like prescripted. And we're just like, all right, let's just do our thing. And if you don't have any interaction, like, I don't know. I just wanted to start with that before we get into it.
I did appreciate
so
that
feel free
you
to
started
add
with
on.
the, like, I'm sorry, but you don't have to fucking apologize for this, dude. This sucks. This is not interesting to play. It's not interesting to watch. It's not engaging. And it's not a test of skill. It's a test of the person who wins the die roll first. Like, I understand that the number one problem I have with Yu-Gi-Oh!, and it's a problem that exists to this day, is that individuals can look up a YouTube combo and execute the YouTube combo and do okay. And if you do okay and you want to cap out at kind of being a mid-tier player, that's completely fine. But we shouldn't be playing a game in which the goal of the game is to be the person who can recite the YouTube combo the best. Like, that's not understanding. That's not learning. That's the fucking Chinese room experiment.
That's not a game.
Yeah,
That's not a game. At the end
And
of the day.
what you saw here was two people literally executing YouTube combos. I understand that if we put the hours in and the reps, we would have a better mastery of how exactly to facilitate the FTK through XYZ hand traps or with XYZ openers. But the truth of the matter is, we were able to take a set without anything more than a bunch of fucking videos in a playlist. And that doesn't sound like something that's really worth your time. And thankfully, Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't always like this, you know? Toss is coming up, and that much more rewards a really comprehensive understanding of a strategy rather than just executing plays that you saw in a playlist. But the times when Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like this, and there are dozens of them throughout history, it is just not a game I want to be playing. And boy, did this fucking episode exemplify that. Holy fuck.
We can talk about some of the silver linings here. I will say, when you look at the context of what people have been putting up with when Yu-Gi-Oh! Existed at the time, remember, we're in like early 2018 at this point, where it's like Pendulum, FTK, all this bullshit. I think if you're really into Yu-Gi-Oh, you love Yu-Gi-Oh, you love just like the evolution of the game, you would find it really fucking cool that Gem Knights not only are a deck that can be conceivably playable in an environment like this, that they have the ability to win, albeit through an FTK, but one thing we didn't show off is that even if you don't go first, you can just summon gigantic master diamonds like this and just kill them through battle damage. That's not hard for this deck to do. I think it's cool that this hidden arsenal archetype that had no hope of being playable outside of Seraphonite, like consequentially just being a powerful card with Brilliant Fusion. It's pretty fucking cool to see like this deck actually being played in some capacity. Now, to be fair, if it wasn't for Extreme Force and Phantom Quartz being printed, none of this would have been possible. This card literally had to fix everything the deck was missing, and I think it did it a little bit too well considering we gave it an FTK as a result of it. But I think for anyone who like is an old school Yu-Gi-Oh player, if you sat across the table and saw some Gem Knights, you'd think that's pretty cool. You lose, but you think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Gem Knight stuff is interesting. One of the first decks that really makes use of Block Dragon in a way that feels fundamentally unfair, and one of the things that will lead to it being banned eventually. Notably, this deck doesn't fall off. Like, right now it's playable because the best deck in the room is playing an FTK, and the second best deck is playing Floodgates, so other decks that play a more consistent FTK maybe have some game against it. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Me too, buddy. Me too. A couple of formats, this deck is still around and kicking. And it remains kicking, piloted by individuals like Coder and Vlad, who were able to put up really impressive finishes with it throughout its lifespan. Inversely,
your
deck Chalice was only ever good in the hands of one guy, Marco Perico, who literally makes up 100% of this deck's tops, but that includes a YCS victory. So, like, we probably have to talk about it. This is one of those big Wombo combo decks that theoretically can do just about anything under the sun, provided you draw Venus or, just like you, Brilliant Fusion. The mechanism by which it does it varies based on what the opener is, but it has the capacity to do something that no other deck really could during this period, which is U-Link. It has the capacity to put out a really powerful kaiju monster that has a quadrillion negates attached to it. It makes use of some cards that are clearly broken, like Firewall Dragon, which we will see in the upcoming format in decks like Goki, but also some cards that never see play again, like Rescue Ferret. I'm really excited to have been piloting this deck. I won't pretend it was easy. And it is kind of a who's who of problem cards. I mean, my grip has Christia and Soul Charge in it, alongside Anti-Spell Fragrance. But it's also actually a brick. This hand was not doing anything regardless.
Oh, okay.
There was no, of course, Venus in here. It's a cool deck, and I'm glad it got its day in the sun, but it enables a style of gameplay that sucks. It's not fun or interesting after the 12th summon, and that's just what Yu-Gi-Oh is for about a year.
It's truly tragic that when the format is so stale and people are just sick of seeing the same 2-3 decks over and over again, that when you come across two different FTK versions in their own right, played with cards that would conceivably never see much play prior to this, that it gets people excited. Like, I genuinely remember people being excited when Gem Knight FTK was discovered, or when Marco won the YCS, because it was like, wow, these are new. They're like, it's not what we've been expecting this entire time. But the sad part is these decks are so uninteractive if they manage to go off that this was the state of Yu-Gi-Oh! And sadly, it really does not get much better as we move forward.
No. I'm just looking at toss in the distance. I'll take as many losses as it takes. I think that's 3 in a row for me. We gotta make it out.
I think next episode we're gonna have a reprieve and play maybe a little bit of interactive Yu-Gi-Oh before it gets even worse than this, actually, because I think we need a break.
You will.
So guys, that's going to wrap it up for another video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Let's go ahead and shout the patrons for all of their continued support. So shoutouts to Shadow1317, Tim00x3, MBT Play Medolce, Moto, Cameron L. Smith, Pony Stark, The Synchro Guy, Dan the Man Hoban, Draconic, Little Fade Leaf, Jordan Coons, Dylan Hunter, Dalton, Cody Bretz, Extremely Vulgar Man, Brody Eastwood, Flannel Daddy, Twinkle Muncher, Matthew Brady. I've tried reading cards before. It was horrible, and my guinea pigs had to get me therapy. Helios515, Cheeks McLapperty, Stolfin Amethyst, Wonder Waffle, MBT Cancel Bio Community soon, Cancel Bio Committee soon, Cancel by All Players soon, Uncle Brian of Stardust, Nicholas Carpenter, Corvain, Peyton McGrath, and Candyman. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.